CHS, and welcome to CHTV's second EShow. We may not be in the building, but we still wanted to share the latest news from home.
Thanks for joining us. We'll do our best to bring you the latest in news, sports, and entertainment every goal day at 9:35 a.m. Make sure to set an alarm to check out YouTube, and don't forget to spread the word. In national news, President Donald Trump is actively making efforts to get the country back up and running. During Fox's virtual town hall on Tuesday, the president announced that he is talking to health officials to reopen businesses in large parts of the country by Easter. While his aspirations receive cheer from some, his statements are also being criticized. Dr. Tina Tan, a board member of the Infectious Diseases Society of America, responded to his statements on Tuesday by saying, "This is the making of a major public health disaster. I'm not sure where he's getting his information from, but it's extremely flawed." But even if the President Trump begins to encourage Americans to get back to work, it will be largely up to state and local leaders to ultimately decide. While the president is trying to get Americans' businesses back up and running, coronavirus cases in New York City are skyrocketing. As numbers increase rapidly, those who recently left the metropolitan area are being strongly encouraged to self-quarantine for 14 days. Some health officials also fear a spike in COVID-19 cases as New Yorkers or those who in New York recently flee from the city. In fact, there's been a significant uptick in cases in nearby Long Island, a suspected place where people who have recently been in New York City are expected to have traveled.
COVID-19 is not only affecting restaurants and businesses, it's also affecting sports. Our sports host, Griffin Hadley, will take a look at some basketball updates and the Colts transactions. Over to you, Griffin.
Good morning, Carmel. I'm Griffin Hadley with your virtual CHTV sports update. To start off, I have a little bit of Carmel sports news. Even though Carmel's men's basketball team had their postseason tournament canceled, head coach Ryan Osborne has challenged his players to a game of Greyhound Bingo, but with a twist. The players have been challenged to lots of different drills and tasks to stay in shape. Hats off to Coach Osborne and the Greyhounds for finding a way to try to stay active. In national sports news, even with all of the live sporting events being put on hold across the country, the NFL free agency period is just getting started. In the last couple of days, the Indianapolis Colts have already made a huge couple of splashes. First, they entered the transaction game with a big trade. The Colts sent the 13th overall pick in the first round of this year's draft to San Francisco for Pro Bowl defensive tackle DeForest Buckner. Buckner totaled 19.5 sacks over the past 2 seasons and will be a huge upgrade to the Colts defensive front. The Colts also signed quarterback Phillip Rivers to a 1-year contract. Rivers, a seasoned veteran of the league, is expected to come in and lead the Colts offense in the 2020 season, which means Chris Ballard has now officially moved on from Jacoby Brissett for the time being. And yesterday, the Colts signed another former 49er, defensive lineman Sheldon Day. With the draft being scheduled for April, it will be interesting to see what other moves the Colts will make this offseason. And finally, in international news, as Garrett touched on in our first show, the IOC announced that the Olympics have been postponed. To expand, this is one of the biggest sports announcements thus far, as the Olympics take years to plan out and millions of dollars to schedule dates and build their brand new facilities. The International Olympic Committee has said that the games will be pushed back to the summer of 2021 at the latest. Summer and Winter Olympian Lolo Jones requested for the postponement on Twitter, saying that athletes need to be able to focus on not on training, but what everyone else is focusing on: staying healthy, supporting family, and getting through these tough times. The IOC has met this request as athletes can now reflect and focus on what is to come in their athletic careers as well as their personal lives. And that is all I have this morning for your CHTV Sports Update. Let's send it back to Katherine for your local news update.
Thanks, Griffin. In Carmel news, Mayor Brainerd's daily report from yesterday shows that even more buildings and restaurants will be closing to ensure the safety of customers and employees. One of these is Brookshire Golf Course. It says people will be allowed to walk on the paths of the course, but not play. Mayor Brainerd also announced that many of the city departments, including the fire and police departments, will continue to work as hard as ever until further notice. He also said Carmel parks and playgrounds are mandated to remain closed until at least April 6th.
In state news, a lot of things are changing in order to ensure the safety and rehabilitation of citizens due to the COVID-19 virus. Looking on the bright side though, according to WTHR News, a General Motors plant in Kokomo has announced that it may pivot to the production of ventilators if the time comes and they are needed. And IU Health announced that it's finally able to start testing people for the virus.
Hoosiers are working relentlessly to contain COVID-19, especially those in the health field. Our own Elyse Timpe spoke with a doctor who's on the front lines of the fight. Let's take a look.
Yeah, so my name is Babar Khan. I'm an associate professor of medicine at Indiana University School of Medicine. I'm the research director for the medical ICUs of Eskenazi Health Hospital. I'm a pulmonary critical care physician who works in the intensive care unit at Eskenazi Hospital and Indiana University Health University Hospital. So for COVID-19, I'm still doing my principal job, which is essentially to take care of patients who are admitted to the intensive care unit. As you know, a significant percentage of people who are infected with COVID-19 can have respiratory problems, which essentially means that they will have difficulty breathing. And because of that, they come to the ICU to be on the oxygen. And if we cannot keep their oxygen levels up, they need to be put on a breathing machine, which is essentially means that they are put on a mechanical ventilator so we can provide enough oxygen to their vital organs. So as part of my job, I take care of those patients, admit them to the ICU. So far, we have had 2 positive cases in the ICU at this point at Eskenazi Health. Actually, we were fully prepared to take care of our first case. We have started preparations about 2 weeks in advance. It was pretty seamless when we got our first patient of COVID-19. All the protocols were in place. They were put in a special unit which have been geographically created in the hospital so as to not to expose other patients, and a dedicated team of health personnel are taking care of those patients. Right. So the most important thing is the basic things, which is essentially starting with hand hygiene, and also something in technical terms we call donning and doffing the protective gear. So we went through drills of putting protective gear on and taking protective gear off without contaminating other things around us. Right. Yeah, I would like the high schoolers or any of the young folks. I know it's extremely difficult because we are all very socially, especially the high schoolers, they want to interact socially. I think the most important thing for high schoolers is, one, wash your hands 20 seconds with soap and water. Okay. Use hand sanitizers. Keep social distancing as much as possible. Don't congregate and don't feel that because they are young and healthy, they would be invincible to the virus. And 4, avoid their old grandparents so that they just don't go hug and kiss their old grandparents or any other older members of the family. I know these are tough decisions, but if we can do them over the next 2 to 3 months, I think we will have a chance of containing this.
Lots of important information there. Thank you to the doctor for taking time out of his day.
A lot of people are at home right now, including CHS students and staff. We are challenging everyone to step away from the screen and stay active with Hound Happenings. Let's check it out. Send any videos or pictures of your Hound Happenings and we'll put them on the show. Just send it to carmeltv99@gmail.com. And anyone who sent in their Pet of the Week photo during our last in-studio show, don't worry, our last show before spring break will showcase all the pet photos we've received.
Since everyone is trapped at home, a movie is a perfect way to waste a little time. And the Netflix movie Self-Made is a great one to consider. Self-Made focuses around the first female millionaire, Madam C.J. Walker, who was born in Indianapolis. Walker faced discrimination and hardships, but fought adversity to make her name known. Octavia Spencer plays Madam C.J. Walker and says, quote, "What an inspirational and aspirational story to use as an example for young people who came from nothing. She was able to do all of that without having the right to vote due to her color and gender," end quote. And for all the sports fans watching, LeBron James is an executive producer on the project and advocated for Spencer as the lead actress. If you're a Star Wars fan, then you're in luck. If you have Disney Plus, it's the perfect time to watch Star Wars Clone Wars. Last Friday, Episode 5, Gone with a Trace, was released, and popular character Ahsoka Tano makes her return. This is big news for Star Wars fans because this character was believed to retire in 2014. If you want to keep watching the show, new episodes come out every Friday. In other news, the famous Coachella Music Festival has been delayed due to coronavirus concerns. Originally, the event was supposed to take place next month. The Coachella website status says, quote, "While the decision comes at a time of universal uncertainty, we take the safety and health of our guests very seriously," end quote. The festival, known as the biggest music festivals in the world, will now take place 6 months later in October.
That is about all we have for you today, Greyhounds. Again, this is a new concept for us, so if you have any ideas on what we can cover, please send an email to carmeltv99@gmail.com. For your CHTV, I'm Ted Piha.
And I'm Katherine Sehgal. We will see you right back here at our YouTube channel at 9:35 a.m. next Gold Day. Stay safe and have a great rest of your day.